This is the story of your highway department, of the men, ideas, machinery, and plans which make our highways possible. It is the story of 2,000 men and women and their efforts to improve our state highway system. This was a typical road in New Mexico in 1917, just 5 years after the State Highway Department had been organized. Traffic problems were hardly a major concern of the day, for there were less than 2,000 cars and trucks in the entire state at that time. Today, our roads and streets must be built to carry the nearly 500,000 vehicles registered in New Mexico alone, plus the thousands of out-of-state cars and trucks which travel our highways daily. They must be built to take us wherever we want to go in the safest, fastest, most convenient way possible. For these are the links to our jobs, schools, homes, and recreation areas. They are vital to almost every aspect of our lives. In fact, our lives may well depend someday on routes such as this, part of New Mexico's 1,003 miles of the national system of interstate and defense highways. These roads resulted from a national demand for a modern highway network, and it is each state's responsibility to build them to national standards. From its general office in Santa Fe and from the 5 district offices in Deming, Roswell, Albuquerque, Las Vegas, and Santa Fe, the Highway Department plans and directs the state's road program, working with local communities, interested citizens, and other state and federal agencies. Here, draftsmen, accountants, engineers, and surveyors coordinate all the facts and figures which are necessary for every highway project. First, it must be decided where the road should go. It is the job of the department's traffic section to gather information on traffic volumes and trends and to evaluate this material. Traffic information is obtained from origin-destination studies and manual counts conducted by members of the traffic section. Also, odometer and speed studies are made to augment information obtained from the automatic traffic counters set up at specified points. These important machines are small, light, and simple in operation. Traffic counts provide information on which roads are heaviest traveled, what times of the year there is the most travel, and even which hours of the day are the busiest. The department has 40 continuous automatic traffic recorders and 50 camera-type traffic counters for use in special traffic studies. All this information is gathered, recorded, and turned over to the highway traffic experts to analyze. To help decide where a road should go, it is also necessary to know where people want to go and why they want to get there. Sometimes it's necessary to build a new road to serve motorists, while in other cases it's better to improve roads that already exist. To get such information, the Highway Department's traffic section conducts origin and destination studies, during which they interview motorists to find out where the traffic is coming from, where it is going, and the purpose of the trip. All this helps in deciding how best the road or street can be improved. How is it decided exactly where a road should go? After the need has been established for a new road in a general area, the Highway Department survey crews are sent out to find the best and most economical route for the highway, and at the same time, the route that will cause as little inconvenience and damage as possible to property owners along the way. Sometimes the crews have to survey several routes for just one project, at an average cost of about $750 per mile. The Highway Department has 7 location crews who make all the surveys for highway construction in the state. These men usually average about 1,500 miles of surveying each year. Survey crews always work far in advance of actual construction because the results of their work are needed for long-range planning and for many other Highway Department operations. Information from the surveys is put on field maps, which are used for road design, bridge design, traffic design, and in acquiring rights of way. In recent years, aerial surveys have played an important role in highway design and construction. In many cases, the aerial photographer can obtain photographs in a few hours, which provide information it would take ground crews weeks to get. A series of aerial photos are combined into aerial strips, which give a complete picture of the terrain through which a road must pass and which shows the buildings, homes, or other improvements which are involved in a proposed route. The aerial survey methods have proved invaluable as a time saver and, in the long run, as a money saver to highway departments throughout the nation. Aerial strips have also been useful in showing alignments of proposed highways at public hearings and in demonstrating to city planners how future highway developments will tie in with local roads and streets. The actual designing of New Mexico's highways is handled by the Road Design Section, a group of highly skilled draftsmen and engineers responsible for preparing preliminary plans, detailed construction plans, construction specifications, and cost estimates. This section also coordinates all design details, including the plans for bridges and other structures prepared by the Bridge Design Section, and the plans for interchanges and signing and lighting systems prepared by the Traffic Design Section. Every highway project calls for sheet upon sheet of detailed construction plans. For some of the big interstate projects, there may be as many as 200 sheets for a single job. Modern design methods and new techniques are used to speed production, but much of the work still depends on the ability and patience of the draftsman. The Highway Department's Modern Materials and Research Laboratory, which is responsible for testing all material used in the state's road building, was opened in 1957. The laboratory is divided into 4 main units: construction materials, soils analysis, mechanical tests, and chemical tests. Samples of soils, gravel, sand, and concrete arrive daily to be cataloged, checked, and tested. Laboratory technicians must discover what types of materials are available in a given area, what special soil conditions must be taken into account when the road is being built, or how various materials will stand up under adverse weather conditions or heavy traffic. Every sample must be checked and rechecked to be sure each material will do the job it is intended to do. The testing laboratory is equipped with the finest of precision instruments and machinery, such as the equipment being used here to check samples of soil. These tests will help the lab's geology unit identify certain soils, or they may be needed by the road design section to provide the vital answer to a design problem. In a recent 2-year period, nearly 175,000 different tests were made in the laboratory for various highway projects. One of the most important tests is that illustrated here, the testing of the plastic limit and the liquid limit of soil that will be used for the base or foundation of the highway. Other soil tests will tell the engineers how thick the base should be, what type of stabilization they should use, or what type of driving surface will be most suitable. In addition to these regular soil analyses, the lab technicians also work on many special projects in cooperation with such agencies as the Federal Bureau of Public Roads, the state universities, and the Soil Conservation Commission. To speed testing procedures and to help handle the large volume of work, the Highway Department has established district testing laboratories in each of the 5 highway districts. The operation of these labs has been of tremendous help in making it possible to conduct more tests, to make quick checks in the field for roads under construction in the area, and to give the main laboratory more time to do experimental research that is so vital to any progressive highway program. Chemical testing is another important phase of highway building, for the chemical contents and reactions must be known on everything from cement and water to steel and paints. Not only is testing done in the lab, but commercial products such as pipe, fencing, treated timber, and posts are checked at their source. Asphaltic materials and oil are given rigid inspections in the asphalt lab to be sure they meet the specifications set by the department. Every shipment of asphalt, and there are thousands of shipments each year, is tested, inspected, and certified before it is used. Concrete testing, another function of the department's Materials and Research Laboratory, includes the testing of all materials used in concrete construction. designing of formulas for concrete mixes, and recommending on the basis of the tests the acceptance or rejection of all materials used in concrete construction. To obtain the proper concrete mix, it is necessary for the laboratory to determine just the right portions of sand and water, and to determine air content and other factors that may affect the final product. Recently, specially prepared mixes have been designed to increase the strength of asphalt pavement by using soil cement in the base. Concrete is best known to the public, however, in the form of surfacing for our heavily traveled freeways, or in concrete bridges and other structures which are becoming increasingly popular with modern highway designers. Concrete cylinders cast in the laboratory must be carefully prepared to give an accurate picture of how well the mix will hold up under traffic, under adverse weather or soil conditions, and under the stress to which all highway structures are subjected. Concrete testing provides a dramatic operation in the testing laboratory, as shown in this demonstration. This concrete cylinder is being placed on the 300,000-pound compressing machine, where it can be subjected to a tremendous and continuing pressure. The gauge at the top of the machine reflects the number of pounds being exerted. As the pressure rises, the cylinder slowly gives way under the compression. Continuing research to find the answers for better highways is conducted both in the laboratory and in the field. In building new highways, it is valuable to know how highways already in existence are holding up under the steady wear and tear of everyday traffic. An example of this type of research is the Benkelman beam test, which checks the carrying capacity of New Mexico's highways. This test, which is made periodically at some 200 checkpoints on roads about the state, checks the deflection or bending of a highway under a heavy load. The beam used in the test is a delicate instrument capable of measuring to within 10,000ths of an inch. The truck which passes over the beam to measure the deflection carries a weight equal to the legal limit allowed on a single axle in New Mexico. To get a comparative picture, the crew checks many of the same locations, in addition to checking new locations each year, thus getting a continuous record. Working closely with the legal section of the State Highway Department, the right-of-way section has the responsibility of acquiring all the property necessary for highway building purposes. This includes the rights-of-way proper, material pits, drainage areas, and other miscellaneous property. That's as well as the adjustment of utilities located on highway rights-of-way. It's a big job, one that directly affects many of New Mexico's residents. Working from property field maps provided by the location crews, right-of-way draftsmen interpret and transfer the data to right-of-way maps and prepare necessary legal descriptions of properties involved. This preliminary work requires the combined skills of a draftsman, mathematician, and engineer, as well as some legal knowledge. Each piece of property is completely and accurately described, which means that hundreds of man-hours may be spent on one project alone. Using the completed right-of-way maps, the Highway Department's trained appraisers check each piece of property on the ground to determine the fair market value of the property. Fair market value means the highest price a property would bring if it was put up for a normal market sale. The appraiser's report must include identification of the property, location and description of the land, a complete description of any buildings or other improvements on the land, and as much information as he can get about similar properties in the same area. The appraiser's report must be documented with pictures, charts, statistics, and other evidence. And it is on the basis of all these facts that he evaluates each piece of property. An appraiser is never told to come up with a particular price for any piece of property. The only determining factor is what the property is worth. To double check on each appraisal, a reviewing appraiser in the general office in Santa Fe goes over all the reports to check them for accuracy and consistency. and to be sure that the appraisal reflects the fair market value of the property. After the appraisals have been completed and reviewed, a Highway Department negotiator contacts each property owner to explain the appraisal and to present the department's offer for the property. The negotiator or agent has no authority to raise or lower the price that is offered for the property or to make any other deals on behalf of the Highway Department or the property owner. He is, however, willing and anxious to answer all the property owner's questions and to help in any way possible to arrange a satisfactory settlement. A settlement that will be fair both to the property owner and to the taxpayers of New Mexico. Although the agent himself has no power to act on special requests of the property owner, he will report such requests to the proper authorities in Santa Fe for their attention and consideration. He makes certain that all parties clearly understand the purpose for which the department is acquiring these rights. And when a settlement is reached between the property owner and the department, the deal can be closed immediately. The property owner signs the necessary documents. These are returned to the Highway Department for processing, and a check for the property is put into the mail to the property owner within days afterwards. Accompanying every highway project is a long series of plans, reports, diagrams, and statistical material, which must be distributed to every office and individual concerned with the project. Specifically set up to handle this large volume of printing, the Highway Department's reproduction section is equipped to reproduce road, bridge, and structure plans, maps, plats, documents, office forms, charts, reports, booklets, and photographs. The reproduction section is actually a service unit for all the other sections and divisions of the Highway Department. It is another of the behind-the-scenes activities which are seldom seen by the average highway user, yet which plays a major role in making our highways possible. With the preliminary work finished and the project let to contract, the actual road building gets underway with all the speed and power of modern construction. Highway building is big business in every sense of the word, calling for big equipment, big machines, and men with big ideas and imagination to carry out the plans of the engineers. It's a business which demands skill and experience and a thorough knowledge of New Mexico's terrain, which presents many problems not encountered by road builders in other parts of the nation. Every project is spotted on a large map of the state, and Highway Department project engineers are assigned to each new project to supervise the contract construction and to make sure construction is proceeding according to plans and specifications. Project engineers and other field personnel have no time to relax on the job. Getting ready to blast a path through a mountainside, powder men and safety men carefully set the stage for each big blast. After each blast, men and dozers go right to work, reopening the road to traffic as soon as possible. On most projects, blasting and rock removal is done without disturbing the traffic which passes through the area during construction. Highway construction is a costly business. Since passage of the 1956 Highway Act, New Mexico's budget for the purchase of right-of-way and actual road building alone has risen until now it is almost $50 million a year. This money must be used for the benefit of the greatest number possible, which sometimes means inconvenience, even damage, for some of our citizens. Yet wherever possible, the Highway Department tries to avoid damaging or destroying individual property or existing landmarks. Case in point is the historic church near Glorieta, pictured in the background, which was within the original right-of-way of an interstate highway project, but which the Highway Department was fortunately able to preserve by redesigning that portion of the project. Since passage of the 1956 Highway Act, the state's road building program has set a pace believed impossible just a few short years ago. Much attention has been focused on New Mexico's interstate highways, but more and more work is also being done on the other highway systems. Most interstate construction is now being done in rural areas, on routes which follow in general the present alignments on US 66, US 85, and the greater part of US 80 between Las Cruces and the Arizona state line. The control of access on these highways will make them far safer than our present roads, while traffic lights, stop signs, and railroad crossings, at least on these routes, will be a thing of the past. Drainage problems, even in so-called dry New Mexico, have been and continue to be a big part of the Highway Department's job. More than 1,400 bridges span rivers, streams, and deep arroyos in the state. And the department's bridge design section plans hundreds of other structures each year to solve drainage problems on our roads and within our rights-of-way. Many advanced concepts in bridge design have been used on the state's newer bridges with great success, making bridges attractive to the eye, as well as highly functional. The laying of concrete surfacing, such as that being used on Albuquerque's freeway system, has seen tremendous advances in recent years. These freeways must last for years to come, must be capable of carrying as many as 90,000 vehicles a day on some portions of the routes. Albuquerque, like many other cities in the nation, has experienced severe traffic problems. It has grown with almost unbelievable rapidity. To help this problem, the city and state have worked together to develop the freeway system, a system that will serve the residents as effectively as it will carry through traffic, that will relieve congestion as it reduces traffic hazards. Men, machinery, and money all are necessary to build a road, to keep our road program a healthy and contributing part of the state's economy. Because road building so directly affects all our lives, it is only natural that we want to know what is going on when a road is planned near our communities. It is no rare occurrence for either taxpayers or tourists to visit the Highway Department's headquarters in Santa Fe, to ask questions, to get information, to request help or offer suggestions. This service is one of the department's most important functions, and it is one the department is always ready to fulfill. Answers to many questions may be found in the file room, where plans and correspondence on every highway project are carefully kept and recorded. These central files frequently prove an invaluable source of reference. To save space, more and more material is being recorded on microfilm, so that letters, maps, and plans from past projects will always be available in the permanent records. Yes, these people, too, are highway builders, are as much responsible for the roads we drive on as are the men who draw the plans or who drive the dozers. They, too, are joined in the effort to build a road. Another section that speeds the department's workload is the IBM room, where trained personnel compile and tabulate a variety of information on the complicated machines. Data that used to take weeks and months to assemble can now be obtained in days, even hours. Selected personnel from this section have attended special schools for additional training in the use of these machines, and thus have been able to operate them to the department's increasing advantage. So far, we have seen a sampling of what it takes to build a road, and today, right now, we are benefiting from the results of these efforts. Highways such as this are carrying us to our offices, our stores, our schools, our playgrounds. There are nearly 12,000 miles of roads on New Mexico's state highway system, and we can be proud of the fact that more than 7,500 of those miles are paved roads. We are paying for these roads ourselves through our gasoline taxes, motor vehicle, and carrier fees. More than half of our total income for highways comes in the form of federal aid, money collected by the federal government from the highway users of the nation and distributed back to the states for the benefit of those same traveling citizens. Once a highway is completed, it is the state's responsibility to protect its investment. The Highway Department's maintenance crews, working out of the 5 district highway offices, are responsible for maintaining some 10,000 miles of highway on the state system. No federal funds are available for this important work. The money spent for maintenance is all state money, approximately $10 million a year. Careful sealing of our existing roads is one of the measures the Highway Department takes to protect our highway investment. Particularly during the summer months, when the weather is more cooperative, maintenance crews can be seen at work daily on highways throughout the state, spreading chips, patching holes, laying new coats of oil, and smoothing all into a finished surface. In addition to the sealing operations, there are special crews to handle heavy dirt work, to repair, build, or rebuild small bridges, and to produce the materials used in patching and sealing. Special equipment purchased by the Highway Department has been of invaluable assistance to the sealing program. One such item, a portable hot mix plant, is capable of producing up to 40 tons of hot mix per hour. The material which this plant produces is much more stable and lasting than the road mixtures previously available, and the results have been highly satisfactory. It takes a lot of material to maintain New Mexico's highways, and the department's crusher operations are scenes of great activity. In addition to producing material for work on state roads, a recent plan put into operation by the State Highway Commission provides for the sale of stockpile material to various counties for the improvement of county roads throughout the state. Special patrol crews of the Highway Department's maintenance forces are responsible for rebuilding portions of highways such as this. This type of maintenance is a big money saver for the department, as it increases the life of a road that otherwise might have to be entirely reconstructed. Much time and work is also spent on the state's 5,000 miles of secondary highway system. It is important that these roads be kept in as good condition as possible, for they are the links to our farms, ranches, consolidated schools, marketing areas, and most of our scenic and recreational areas. A familiar sight to motorists traveling New Mexico's highways, the road striping crews are responsible for painting the centerline stripes and the no-passing lines on all our roadways. The mechanized equipment used by the crews can stripe an average of 30 to 35 miles of highway a day, with the state's 2 crews using some 85,000 gallons of traffic paint each year. The 2 crews lay an average of 7,000 miles of dash white center line striping each year, and approximately 2,000 miles of solid yellow no-passing lines. The operator on the rear of the truck drops a flag at frequent intervals to remind motorists not to cross the wet paint, while another crewman issues a request from the Highway Department that drivers stay on the right and reduce speed as they pass the striping truck. Yes, New Mexico has seen real progress since the time when we were proud of roads like this. But we have a lot of work yet to be done. It will take time and money, and the combined efforts of many people. But we do know that it can be done, that it is all part of the story of what is needed to build a road.